So you might be getting a little bit afraid with the way that things are headed in society and all the foolishness always constantly going on. And you might feel down on your luck and maybe you had a couple of bad experiences. Are you starting to feel like love might not be out there for you? Cancel that now. Rebuke that. Take it back. Don't speak that into your life. Because honestly, I was feeling the same about a year ago. And now I don't feel that way because I'm witnessing love all around me. I asked God to show me. I said, you know what? I know it's there. I need some proof. And I started to get invited to a lot of weddings. And I've never really been a bridal hairstylist, but I started to get like bookings for a lot of weddings. So I was like, wow, like love is happening. I had, mature clients getting married. I had like people who were like early 20s getting married, like all ages getting married. So I was like, love is out there. And then I was like, okay, so where do you find the good men? Like, where are they? Like, where are they finding them? And they're everywhere. I know it sounds like a lie, but I promise it's not. But they are everywhere. They're everywhere and also nowhere. I feel like a lot of the people who are hurt and they're scared to start dating again, like myself, are home. Like home is safe. Home, there's food. Home, there's dog. There's comfort. There's a cat. There's whatever. You just feel safe at home. But you can't find your person that way. They're not going to knock on your door and be like, hey, I've been looking for you, my love of my life. Love of my life, where have you been? Why are you taking so long? Why are you home? That's not how it works. That's not how you're going to find love. The key to finding love I'm getting this information based off of the clients that I have. So many women sit in my chair every day. That's who I'm getting it from. And I'm also getting it from a lot of my guy friends that I forced an interview with. But at least I know that the information is, it's perspective based. So I don't know the formula. I'm still single myself, but here are some of the things that I've learned about the pursuit of love. So I explained self-love a little bit more in detail in my therapy video, like my experience with therapy. And it was basically this Bible verse. And in that video, I talked about the importance of the word as in that scripture. And the word as basically implies that you already love yourself to this capacity. So that's how you are able to love others. Now, if you have a very low level of self-love, it's going to be difficult for you to pour when you're kind of like you're pouring from an empty cup. So I talked about it a little bit more. So if you want to watch that video first, I can link it in the description. Maybe, I don't know, put it somewhere here. But that is basically what it is. The pursuit of love, it has to be a spiritual, everything happens spiritually first, and then it kind of trickles down into the physical, which is where we are. So I believe that the pursuit of love is spiritual first. So you're going to get the most love from your Lord and Savior. You are going to get the most love from God. If you need help with self-love, you need to pray on it. Anything that you ask in prayer will be given to you. So you have to connect with a higher power, because there's so many things that we don't understand. On this earth, there's so many things that we don't understand. So it's important to get that guidance. When you come into a knowing of like who you're connected to, what you want in life, it becomes very difficult to, anything that's not what you want, it's going to be very obvious to you, and you're going to be like, okay, I know I don't want that. So in short, you have to basically look for love within yourself first, which is probably the most difficult step. And then you can look for love externally. That first piece is so essential, especially with a lot of the women that I talk to. When it doesn't come first, you are in a whirlwind full of problems for yourself, and you're not you're not going to be happy. I wanted to start off with some of the signs that you're looking for love in the wrong places. So, relying solely on external validation from others. Now, if this is something that you do, you need to understand, just like people can give you validation, I believe it's going to be temporary. They can always take it away. So you need the stamp of approval from God and yourself, and you need to really know yourself before you go out there, because you're gonna need to know what you like, what you get along with, what you're compatible with, what your desires are, what your morals are, what your life goals are. Those things are so important. So if you give anybody else the ability to like validate you, they can take it away, and then you're going to be back to square one. Another sign that you're looking for love in the wrong places is almost like using love to fill a void or some sense of loneliness. Because if you're not comfortable in your own company, how can anyone else be comfortable around you? It's just not possible. I personally don't think that it's possible. And even if it is, it's going to be temporary, and it's not, in the long run, it's just not sustainable. If you're using someone to fill a void, what's going to happen when they leave? So those are things to think about. You really want to get into a mindset of living and being in the present, but it's okay to sometimes think about your future. And when people are trying to come into your life, how do they fit with my future? Ignoring red flags or compromising your values in the pursuit of love. This is so dangerous. This is so dangerous. You can get yourself into so many emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, even abuse that you're like, oh my gosh, this is so left field. Like, where is this coming out of? So you don't want to be doing anything to, number one, be abusing yourself. And number two, be doing anything that can attract those kind of people. So if you see the red flags, like obviously, I firmly believe that anybody that you meet is going to come with a catch. They might chew a weird way. They might leave the toilet seat up. They might leave the cupboards open and you bonk your head every now and then. Like, those are not red flags where you're like, wait a minute, let me take a step back. Do I really need to be here? Does this person benefit this relationship more than I do? What am I almost getting out of it? I'm not saying go into it like, what am I getting out of it? More like, does this fit? Does this fit with my future goals, morals, life values? So ignoring, another thing that a lot of, like, I've been hearing a lot about is being equally yoked in Christianity. If you're dating someone of another faith, I'm not saying that you can't find love, but you have to think about long term. How does that work for you in your life, right? And it's okay to have a preference. If you want to or not want to date someone for any particular reason, you are well within your rights. We have the ability of free will and the ability to choose. So if you're going to choose, for example, marriage, which is one of my huge goals, if you're going to choose someone for your marriage, that is a lifelong commitment. You want to take your time and choose the right person. The fourth, and I'm smiling because I am guilty of this, but the fourth sign that you're looking for love in the wrong place is placing unrealistic expectations on people who are potential partners. So if you meet somebody, I mean, yes, you can pray for all of these things and you can, really, I guess, ask for it in your life, and you may think that you're deserving of it, but you don't really want to get wrapped up. And I find that this is something that, to be honest, I blame myself ultimately, but I think social media had a very big hand in it. I was like, oh my gosh, like, this person's getting this, like, I know that I could get it too. Like a wealthy partner, or maybe someone got like a vacation or whatever. Like, you don't really want to become in getting like social media envy. Like, you don't want to be jealous of people that have things that maybe you want, or be like, oh, like, I want to, I don't remember what it's called. Is it a life? I think it's lifestyle envy, where you're like, oh my gosh, this person's on private jets and all of these things. Like, I want to do all of those things too. And you yourself may not have like the finances or whatever it is to do all of those things. So you can't expect someone like to just do those things for you, right? I know there's a lot of content out there that will say otherwise, but putting like, if you have a guy who has like, maybe they're in a career where they're not making that much money, and maybe they're not making the six figures, like, you can't put an unrealistic expectation on them to like go on some $5,000 each like vacation, and they just don't have that kind of money right now, right? And then comes in the long-term goals, because maybe they have plans for the money that they're making, maybe they have those things. So it's kind of unfair to ask people for those things when you yourself don't have them. If you're like one of the girlies who wants to get taken care of, and you want to be provided and protected for, as we all do, I just think it's, when it comes to unrealistic, you want to be realistic with, what you can do for that person and what they can do for you. So you've got to be realistic. Like, don't let some of these people are out here scamming, lying, cheating, and stealing, and you're like, I want to be like that. Like, you don't really know what's going on behind closed doors. So don't ever say you want someone's life. Don't ever have that lifestyle envy where you're like, I want this and that, because you don't know what comes with it. This is one that I'm starting to find is much more common, and I don't really know where it's come from, but it's the sign that you're looking for love in the wrong places is when you're constantly bouncing around. Like, you end one relationship, you're not even healed. You think in your mind you are, and you're like, oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. And you go and jump into something new. That's so harmful. It's just so damaging to yourself. It's totally unfair to the other person. This is something that I'm seeing a lot more of, where people are just like, I don't care. Like, I'm gonna do what I want, and I'm gonna, if I can't, whatever. I can't even say it because it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, please, 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 guys, heal. Find ways to heal before getting back out there, because if you're hurting, you're gonna hurt another person, and that is so, 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 so unfair. Okay. Now that we've gone over some of the signs that you're looking for love in the wrong places, I want to go over some of the things that you can do instead. So, you want to have that solution-based mindset. So, one of the things that you can do to start is cultivate self-love practices. So, get closer with God, really strengthen that connection, meditate on God's word, meditate on, if there's a situation that's bothering you and you feel like you can't calm down, or you feel like you're overwhelmed, really taking a moment to meditate. And this was one of the things that I learned in my first year of psychology. Meditation, I'm going to find the slide. But meditation is so powerful for your life and what it can do to your mental health. I would also say journaling. That's something that I did throughout my therapy journal that I carry on to today. Practicing gratitude, writing things out, getting it out one way or another. Another thing I wanted to add was affirmations. So really just standing in your power and affirming things that I want to say want to be true. It will feel so ridiculous to look in the mirror and do it, but it will help you. The second thing that you can do that I am currently in the middle of, and it is so just rewarding in every sense of the word, is rediscovering and nurturing like passions and hobbies, especially some of the things that you've had since you were a kid. Those are the things that are really going to give you joy as an independent person. You don't, like, one thing that I notice a lot of my clients tell me is they're like, oh, like, I want like a first, like, I want a first this with somebody. I want a first vacation, or I want a first, I don't know, just I've there's this concept of a lot of firsts that people feel like they're going to be, it's almost like they're reserving time. Like, oh, I've never been on a boat ride. I want that to be my first with my next partner, or something like that. And I'm like, but they're not here yet. Like, go on the boat ride, sis. Go on the boat ride, go for the picnic, go do what you want, go take the pottery class. Like, don't wait for anybody, go do that. So one of the things that I did was I wrote down a list of things when I was a kid. And I was like, okay, I used to love doing this. I used to love doing this. I did dance for a while. Like, there were so many things that I wrote down. And I was like, I really want to get back into these things. So doing those things can really, and then you, honestly, a lot of times, especially with the last tip on where you're looking for in the wrong place, if you're jumping from person to person, you're kind of just like fusing yourself with another person. You're not actually like, okay, you're not actually becoming independent. You're not actually learning about yourself. And to know yourself, you will start to love yourself. So it's so important to like find things that you really want to do and do them. Like, create a gigantic bucket list. Whether you get some of the things done in 5 years or 1 year or 2 months, like, just start, because tomorrow is promised unto no man. So you really want to enjoy life while we have it. That also brings me into the next point, which is spend alone time with yourself. I'm not saying embrace loneliness, girl, be lonely. I'm saying spend time with yourself. So when you create, after you create your list of hobbies, of things that you want to get into, do them alone. Go to events alone. So often we reach out to a friend and say, hey, do you want to go to this with me? Do you want to do this with me? With me. And then sometimes if they say no, you just don't go by yourself, or you don't go at all and you really wanted to go. Start doing things alone, because it's so empowering. It's so empowering to get out there and be on your own and discover and learn. One of the big things I wanted to always do was I always wanted to go to Mexico. I love Mexican food. I love everything about Mexico. And I was like, I want to go to Mexico. And for my 28th birthday, one of my birthdays, I decided to go to Mexico by myself. I had so many people saying, oh my gosh, a solo trip, that's so dangerous. You're a girl, you're this, you're that. That's just, it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. When I tell you, that was one of the best trips I've ever had in my life. Pure relaxation. I got up when I wanted to. I went to the beach. I went on a girls trip and everybody wanted to go by the pool and party and drink. And that's when I still drink. I don't drink anymore, but I don't like the pool. I'm a hairstylist. It's gonna make my hair so dry. My wig is gonna be frazzled when I get out there. I don't like pools. If maybe to like post up and be cute and have a little, have a little Shirley Temple, something like that. But other than that, I was like, I'm a beach girl. I didn't have to fight with anyone saying I want to go to the beach and not the pool. I didn't have to fight with anybody about where we wanted to eat. I didn't have to fight with anybody about getting up early too. I was getting up and stretching in the sun on the beach. I was living my best life. I don't think I've never had peace like that. And I went by myself. And it was so rewarding. I was exploring. I went on the excursions. I was on the ATV thing, like with the glasses, like I was doing everything, because I was like, I need, number one, a trip. I got a massage on the beach. Like, I don't like to be on a trip and be like, hey guys, do you want to do this today? Do you want to do this today? Do you want to do this today? No, I booked everything myself. I booked everything. I did all of my excursions like ahead of time. I just placed them on different days. Best trip of my life. Now I only want to solo trip. Now I only want to solo trip. But yes, doing things alone. The fourth step is seeking guidance. I don't think that life is designed for you to be living alone. Even though I just said, yeah, girl, do all that stuff alone, do all that stuff alone. I do think that you need a balance, and I think that it's important that you put yourself around people who are smarter than you. Like, you can, if you're having issues spiritually, you can talk to your pastor, any other people in your fellowship group that you can talk to. I think that fostering healthy relationships with people that have trust, love, and you have healthy boundaries enforced, I think it's important. Even therapists, it's important to talk to professionals when you're looking for that guidance. And obviously, God above is who will order your steps and do everything that you need. Some people have all of their guidance coming from there and they're doing amazing in life. So I think seeking beyond what you're capable of, because sometimes you don't notice that you need rescuing in a certain area. So having that guidance, counselors, supporters, anyone who can help you with what you're looking for. Always seek advice. And this is another thing. When you're going to take advice from someone, this is something that I learned throughout my business career. If you're going to take advice from someone, you need to, number one, have it be someone that you trust, and you would switch. Okay. The camera cut off, but I'm back. What I was going to say was something that I learned in my business career was when you're taking advice from people, it needs to be number one, someone that you trust. And it can be someone that either has studied and is certified and is an expert in what you're asking about, or they have experienced it. So if you are going to seek for guidance, look for those two things. Look for someone who has either experienced it through life, like life just they got that area of life down. They're an overcomer. They've overcome whatever that battle was. And number two, someone who is an expert in what you're talking about. Major key. The fifth and final tip on what to do instead is engaging in activities that align with your spiritual and moral values. When you create that list of things that like your major bucket list where you're like, I want to do all of these things, you are going to meet so many like-minded individuals. And this is an excellent way to expand your network as well, because especially if you're living a life where maybe, you kind of have friends that are falling off, and maybe you're dealing with certain things in your family where you don't really know like where to turn. Maybe you've broken trust in all areas and you're just kind of like, I need a brand new start. I'm not saying become best friends with like all these people, because obviously that would also take time, but meeting like-minded individuals is just so refreshing, because you're like, oh my goodness, people think like this, like I'm not crazy. It's just a breath of fresh air. And you want to expand your network in this life, because there's so many beautiful people out there. There's so many kind-hearted individuals. Like, it's so important to foster genuine connections. So in short, everything that I listed, you might be looking for love in all the wrong places, but there is hope for you. I have hope in myself. I have hope in you. I have hope in sisterhood. I have hope in finding love. All of those things are so important, and it starts with you and your connection to God. You start seeing the pursuit of love as a spiritual journey. All of it is. This whole entire lifetime is. So with that, we are done today's episode. If you liked this content, continue to like and subscribe. I would appreciate if you have any questions, just leave a comment, reach out to me on Instagram. I'll link everything below. Bye. Until next time.